It's the lights, isn't it?
It's actually not the lights. I think that I'm just, it's just hot for me. I'm fat. Listen, there's no way around it, okay? I can.
No, it's humid. It's
I
the
can
problem.
peel
It's
an
humid.
orange and Lydia will think that I'm doing push-ups because of the way that I'm sweating, okay? So it's like that.
I do. Don't worry. Don't worry. Stop.
Tell me when you're good to go.
I'm ready to go. Right?
Hi players, bonjour from Geneva. My name is Asaf and welcome to my channel Easy Board Games. Today I have with me a special guest. Say hello to Mike. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Having a good time in Geneva so far?
Excellent time. Thank you.
Amazing. Today, guys, I have a review for you for Obsession and its expansion Wessex. And before we're diving into this review, let's take a look at the table and see what Obsession is all about.
You are a downtrodden family and you want to reestablish yourself in the eyes of the elites inside of Derbyshire. And so you want to increase your prestige while also attracting popular or important people into your family circle in order to hope to marry off to one of the Fairchild children.
In general, in this game, a flow of a turn will be, well, first of all, you can see the turn tracker over here. So we're going to have sort of 19 turns. It's not really 19 turns because we're going to have some events that we're going to talk about in just a few more minutes. And basically a turn will be that you're going to choose one of the tiles that you have over here. You're going to place them over here in this location. Then you need to fulfill some conditions. So for example, if I'm taking this tile and place it, then we can see that we have here this white meeple. So we'll need to take our footman and place it over here. And then also they will need to present over here specifically with this tile to gentry. Gentry basically means any card that you have in your hand. It doesn't have to be a part of your family or something like that. And then what you'll do, you'll take these two cards, again, doesn't really matter which ones, and then you're going to resolve some favors. By the way, all the round is basically marked over here, or your turn order. So I'm just skipping it to save for you guys a little bit of time. But then when you're going to receive the favors, you're going to take actually what we have over here. Sometimes it's going to be 2 effects, even 3. Sometimes you will need to choose. Don't want to go too much into it, but usually it's going to be take some money, take a guest that is like a little bit of a mystery meat that we have over here, because it can be something that gives you good benefits or bad benefits. Over here we have the prestige guest that is always something that is going to give you positive effects. They're obviously a little bit more difficult to play because we have here another mechanism, and that is with the prestige, I want to say. That's
I think it's prestige.
Yeah, prestige.
We'll call it prestige.
And that means that every time that we're going to gain more prestige and we're going to circle this stack over here, every time we complete a round, we're going to have more prestige. That will help us play tiles that are stronger. For example, I cannot play tiles with number 2 as long as I don't have prestige that is at least 2. Now, after I have done that, these cards are going to go to a discard pile, and all the meeples that I have used in this turn are going to go over here to the expendant servants. In the next turn, this is why we skipped number 1 and 2 over here, all the meeples that were situated in these different boxes are going to move 1 step to the right. So this lady is going to move over here, and this gentleman will move over here. Sometimes we're going to have different effects that are going to help us, but basically over here are the meeples that we'll be able to use. On top of that, each player is going to start with some objective cards that we're going to lose some during the game. We're going to gain some during the game again. So whatever we can see over here with this kind of iconography, that means that we're going to gain 1 more objective card that of course leads towards the end of the game. After you have finished your turn, if you have money, and most of families, I think besides one family, we all start with 0 money, we'll be able to buy some tiles. We have the base cost, and of course, we're going to have some modifiers on the stronger tiles. After we have bought a tile, we're going to slide everything to this side over here, and from the bag that we have, we're simply going to draw a new one and slide it at the end of this row. On top of that, every time that we're going to reach some special event, we're going to resolve it. Again, don't want to go too much into it, but I want to give you probably the most important thing that we have, and that is the courtship that we have over here. Now, at the beginning of the game, we're going to reveal 1 card, as we can see over here, and that basically tells us what specifically these 2 people are looking for in terms of the player. Let me break it down a little bit. Right now we can see over here that we have estate. So that means that they want to have the points of estate the highest. So the player that is going to have the most points with estate will be able to take a decision, and for one, let's call it, I don't know how to say it really, but until the next courtship, they will be able to have that specific card, whichever one that they choose, in their deck. Now, how do you get more points? So basically, I forgot to say that after you're using each one of the tiles, you're going to flip it to the other side. Now, some tiles you're going to flip multiple times, but that's a bit more rare. But usually you're going to flip it one time, and that is going to stay like this in your playing area until the end of the game. So you can see that from minus 3 points, for example, when you're flipping it to the other side, you have 2 points. So if I'm taking the estate, right now we can see that on this tile, for example, I have -2. Flipping it to the other side, I have 2. But of course, I can have more tiles that I'm going to buy, use, and with that increase actually the number of points that I have in that specific category. So when we arrive to the courtship, we're going to see which is the player that has the most points. They will be able to choose one, add it to their deck, and on top of that, they're going to receive one victory point card that will be either something that they will be able to cash in for the immediate effect, or if they're holding it until the end of the game, that is going to give them some victory points, which is of course can make the difference between winning or losing, which is something that you can say about pretty much every game. So that was pretty much a stupid thing to say.
No.
We're going to ignore that. Let's move on. All right. So that basically, guys, is the how the game rolls. When we reach over here to the final one, then we're going to calculate everything that we have, because after we're resolving this, we're going to draw another one, but we're not going to discard it completely, because again, at the final courtship that we have over here, we're going to count the points that we have for all of these cards, and we have 2 cards for each type, so sometimes we're going to even double the points. Anyways, yeah, don't want to take too much of your time, but that, guys, was in general a round of Obsession and how the game goes. Now, as with all of my reviews, let's start breaking this game down piece by piece. I always like to start, if that's okay with you, with the setup and the ease of learning the game.
Okay.
So, you did the setup when you first taught me this game. Basically,
Right.
Just to give you a small backstory, let's say it like that. So, Mike came to visit me here in Geneva for a weekend of board games. Mike has been with me on the channel pretty much from the early days. Just a huge supporter. So this is a truly pleasure to host him over here and do a video with him. So you did the setup when you wanted to teach me this game.
Yes.
Walk me through it. How do you find the setup?
So from the last time I played this game had unfortunately been about 2 years.
Okay.
And so I don't remember a lot of things.
Right.
But the rule book is extremely well done.
Okay.
And for me to just glance, put it all together, it was very easy to set up.
Okay.
And also, especially to every house has its own box. So you literally just give the players their own box and say, mimic what I'm doing.
Sure.
And it takes maybe a minute to get it out of the box, get them to the table.
Right.
And then as far as the cards themselves, yes, there's different types of cards, but they're all very well labeled in terms of the iconography. And you just put in the right column, and then you're good to go. It's on the table, I'd say, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10
Right.
minutes, and stop.
No, so I didn't see Mike doing the first setup, but I can tell you that we pretty much played like 3 games back to back with different player counts, but we're going to get to that in a few more minutes during this review. But I have to say that the game presence is very minimal. I'm not saying it in a bad way. I think it's very minimal because this is what you need to have on the board. There is no extravaganza over here. This is not like too much. So the setup is really quite easy to do. We have here 2 boards. All the components are nicely arranged inside the box. So basically, just like Mike said, I think that 5 minutes, especially if you have each person just taking their own box and doing what the other player is doing in case it's their first game. 5 minutes and we're good to go.
We're good to go.
Okay, let's move on to learning the game, the ease of play. So you learned the game, again, you taught me, but what was your experience with learning the game from the rulebook?
Again, rulebook is very, very nice. Inside, even, and I didn't show you this, but he has terms that are colored blue, which are related to a glossary. So if you needed to learn more, there's more. And also, he has a breakdown of the point distribution of where things come from.
Absolutely love it.
Never seen that in any other game. And just to know, okay, that's something great to teach the new players to be like, okay, yeah, you can get points from having money, but it's better to improve your estate.
Right.
Because you're going to get more points from your estate than you are going to get from money.
Absolutely.
So little things like that. Everything is laid out turn by turn. Very little questions, very little doubts or loopholes you have to worry about.
Did you have some extreme cases or something that you were like edge cases or something that you were like, I don't know, I need to ask a few more questions or...
I don't think, if I did, I will tell you, I wrote to the creator directly.
Okay.
And not that I want to load up his inbox with questions, but he's a nice guy.
Okay.
And he responds very quickly.
That's awesome.
So if there were any doubts, they were cleared immediately. And he's very active online to answer people's questions.
In general, I think that it's awesome that designers of games are interacting with the community, answering, not only answering questions, but in general, just like being there, you know. I think that's in general, like not even regarding the review,
right,
is a very cool thing that we have with designers.
Agreed.
I can say that Nigel Bucko, for example, designer of Voidfall and of course other titles, I had the same experience with him. So that's pretty awesome. Okay, so just from my side, because Mike taught me the game, I think that the game is, again, very basic, not in a bad way, like just very streamlined, very straightforward. You don't have a lot of things that you're like edge cases that you're not sure what to do in. Maybe sometimes some of the text will be a little bit, in my opinion, weirdly put out there, but I think we're going to address it a little bit later. But in general, everything is written on the cards or on the tiles and stuff like that. So I think that it was, for me, very easy to learn it. And I think that during the first game, because at some point I'm like, hey, I think I got the basics of it. Let's start playing and see what's going on. And I think that in like 25%, 40% into the game, I'm like, okay, now everything clicks.
Correct.
So now I know what to do. I don't need to ask too many questions. And it just rolled. We finished the game, immediately started another one, and then took a break and immediately started another one after it. Okay, so that was regarding setup. Let's talk about the gameplay itself, okay? The meat and bones of this review. How does it feel for you to play this game?
So I really love when a game is in a perfect matrimony in terms of the mechanics and the theme itself. You actually feel like you are in a family that is down on their luck, and they're just trying to improve their status by inviting people, hosting events. And there are actions that you can take that help you do that. And especially with maybe you need to hire more servants, maybe you need to spread a little gossip to discredit some other family. And also, too, the fact that you have to worry about your prestige in order to invite the right guests and have the right events is amazing. So you're always trying to get ahead every single round. You never want to go backwards because going backwards means losing prestige.
Right.
You always want to get ahead, especially of the other families, to get to hopefully the proper marriage ceremony at the end.
So personally, I think that the theme, first of all, is being felt in everything that you do in this game. From placing your different meeples, okay? This one is called valet, this one will call something else, the footman or something like that. And you feel the theme in every action that you're doing. So that is, first of all, a great feature. That's something in general that I love, okay? Because at the end of it, you guys, you know, Eurogames is like take X, convert it to Y, add to it Z, and receive some victory points. So what makes games so different, besides the art, of course, is the theme and how well it is integrated into the experience itself. So even if we have here some mechanics of take that, because we have a few mechanics of that, right?
But they're thematic, though. Because if I want my family to get ahead, maybe I'm going to spread some gossip about you.
Exactly.
And then you go down and then I go up.
Exactly.
So everything is properly thematic. So I don't mind if... Because take that is not my favorite mechanic, but if it's integrated correctly, then
100%.
Yes,
yeah, no. So I agree with that. I think that the only take that I was like, oh wow, this might be a little bit too aggressive just for this game, is the fact that you can go and hire a servant from another family, and that can really mess up basically your plans, because you have a specific worker that you need for your next action.
Correct.
And then someone
No names.
is actually taking that meeple from you, and then you need to maybe spend another action in order to hire him back to your family, but then he starts like expended.
Right.
So he's not available immediately right there when you need it. Now, I would think that maybe this type of action, but again, I'm talking really about a specific tile that we all start with.
Right.
But I would say that maybe in order to do that, you would need to maybe spend some money or just make this a little bit more difficult. Before I continue, I'm sorry, there was too much sun, so I kind of closed the shades. I'm sorry about that, you guys. So in any case,
Also, we're bald and the light would just
reflects.
It's
Just reflects.
terrible.
But I think that besides of that, again, the gameplay feels good. It's much quicker than I thought it will take. So playtime over here is like, I think that even in the first game, it took us like 45 minutes per player. But that
Yes.
was the first game with still like, hey, I'm not so sure what to do here.
Right.
There's not a lot of analysis paralysis,
No.
especially because the actions themselves are not too complicated. They're very streamlined, very straightforward. I feel that
Right.
maybe towards the later parts of the game, because we have here some sort of like a deck builder. It's not 100% because you're not all the time like refreshing your deck like in other games that we have, like that we saw during the days, during the time. But you have here an aspect of a deck builder. So what I'm thinking is that in a later phases of the game,
Yeah.
okay, you have a lot of choices.
Yes.
And you need to start to mix and match and think about your next action as well, because not all the meeples will be available to you, especially if you didn't hire. So the game tends to a little bit more maybe analysis paralysis towards the later
Right.
parts of the game.
Where
That's
you're
what I
trying
felt.
to really maximize your points.
Exactly, 100%.
Agreed.
But besides that, until like the 80% mark of the game itself, I think that the game is very streamlined, and it's really, I was very pleasantly surprised. So finishing with that, let's talk a little bit about the replayability. Okay, that's another topic that is very important for me, because I don't want to enjoy a game like 2-3 times and then find myself actually moving to something else. What do you feel? Because you played this game more times than I have.
So there are a lot of cards in both decks of the casual and the prestige guests. There are a lot of tiles in the bag. I don't think in the 3 games we saw every single tile.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
And the creator has added more tiles. Some of them are fan made, some are made by him, which you can throw in the bag if you want to as well. And we only had a couple that came out even
Right.
the last game.
Right.
You have 4 different families in the base game. The Wessex adds another one. So you have 5 different families. And again, they all have a special ability. So, and the objective cards, that's one thing we need to talk about. The objective cards, you are given 5 in the beginning, which is wonderful, because then you're not striving for like the one objective card
Right.
you're given in some games
Right.
of like,
Absolutely.
I must maximize this. Now you have 5, and during the course of the game, you get rid of some and you take some more.
Right.
So you can really hone it into your game and try to maximize points that way. So there's a lot of replayability, in my
Right.
opinion, going on.
I would agree. I mean, I haven't played as many times as you, Mike, of course, but from the 3 times that I've played, I felt like, I mean, of course, you're trying to achieve basically the same things, but the way you try to achieve them,
Right.
is going to be every time different. And that is something that in general I really appreciate in board games, is the adaptability that you need to have in this game.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're right now going for the goal, for what this family is looking for, let me take you again back to the table, you guys. So if these guys are looking for this thing, and I see that one of the players have bought a tile that is going to help them, now I need to understand, or even a little bit to calculate basically, how much points is it going to give me if I'm going to take another tile, if I'm going to fight for another a tile that we have over here that is going to come up, or am I going to actually try to do something completely different, like upgrading my prestige over here, and just try to have more points with that. So I appreciate the adaptability that you have every time in this game. I think that that is the major thing that contributes to the replayability, because every time you're going to have like the variants that you have over here are not huge. I cannot say that one tile is completely different from another tile.
Yeah.
Usually it's going to be play these specific people, like 3 ladies, a lady and a gentleman, gentry. So the variants here are not crazy different.
Right.
You
Agreed.
just need to find different combination.
Exactly.
But I think that what creates the replayability is the fact that you need to adapt yourself to the other players according to what they're doing.
Exactly.
And this is the beauty that I like over here. If you're following the channel, you know that I started to a little bit go away from Euro games, but then we have this game that is like so wonderful in its simplicity. Nothing is blinked out over here, but if we're already talking about that, let's move on to the production value that we have over here. So I'll just finish by saying that we don't have here, like the game is not blinked out. Mike, okay, this crazy guy.
Yeah, hi.
Let me show you, like the meeples don't come like this, okay? It's important for me to say that what we have over here is basically Mike looking for some stickers on eBay, finding them and actually putting those stickers on each one of these meeples, which is kind of cool, I'll be honest with you. So the thing is that you don't really need them. What's important over here is, of course, the color of the meeple. That's the important thing. I don't think that this game needs to be blinked out more, okay? Of course, you have the option for metal coins or I don't know, some. I'm guessing there is something else that you can deluxify in this game.
The coins, I think, were the biggest thing, especially in the last Kickstarter.
Right.
And that's really about it, besides the stickers.
Right. So I don't see here like a need for a playmat or
No.
Basic. That's one of the features that I love in this game is just the basics that it's simply a board game. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's just like what you see, and it's beautiful in the way that it is. How much does this game cost today? If I'm looking for a retail version, do we have any idea?
I have no idea.
So looking at the price tag of this game on the Kickstarter, that was already the second edition. What we just saw.
That one, yes.
Okay, we saw a price tag that is extremely reasonable. All right, like we're looking at 42 euros. So let's add to that 20% and whatever. So we're looking at 60, I don't know, 70 euros maximum with delivery, right?
Yeah.
With the delivery to your home. But I think that you can, like just the listing, you can find, like for the Kickstarter, to find it for 50 euros, for 60 euros. That is so reasonable, even though on BGG we saw that most listings for the second edition that doubles, right? Yeah. So I don't know if it's because not a lot of people are selling this game, so it's a little bit rare on the secondhand market. But I think that even paying around 80 euros for this game, totally reasonable, even though the game itself is not blinked out. It's not, it's very basic. But I think that other things that are going to contribute actually to the value, the small boxes that were part of the second edition, that was some sort of an addition to the second edition, right?
Exactly.
So these small boxes that are beautifully designed with a symbol of each house that contributes significantly basically to the setup time and to the teardown.
Setup time, teardown, and just themes.
Exactly.
Like, this is your family.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, which is something that I 100% appreciate. So I think that production value over here is spot on. I wouldn't take something from it. I wouldn't add something to it. I think this is exactly how it needs to be.
Agreed.
I think that what we want to talk... Did you try the solo mode for this game?
I did try the solo mode a couple of times.
Give us a few words about that.
It's been a while since I played it. And I was happy because when a solo mode mimics another player...
Okay.
Thank you. That's all I want.
Right.
I want to have the feeling that I'm playing against someone else.
Do you have the possibility to play... It's like only 1 versus 1 with the solo mode?
Oh, that's a good question.
Or you can add like another...
I wonder if you can add like to make a 3-player game with like us two and the solo. I don't know.
Okay. But if you're just like yourself, can you add like another, like 2 automas, for example? Or
I think it's 1 versus 1 in that case. Yeah, if that's what you're saying. Yeah.
So let's.
But then there's a lot of variability because you have a lot of opponents to choose from. Because there are
Oh,
also other families.
okay.
that
So
you
that's
can
pretty
compete
cool.
against.
So the
Yes.
game is soloable,
Yes.
and it's a like you enjoyed it.
Yes. And also with the other expansions,
Right.
there's different varieties for the solos.
Okay. So I haven't played the other expansions other than Wessex. So upstairs, downstairs.
Which I have yet to play.
So
and I'm so sorry.
Can't comment on that,
Can't
but
comment on it.
we do want to check it out for sure.
Yeah.
So another thing that I would like to add is also when we're talking about the player count, okay? Because we talked about like when you're playing just against one automa, and for some people it doesn't work so much. But I have to say that when we played our two games back to back,
Yes.
two players, I was like, wow, that works beautifully.
Yes.
Like I really enjoyed it, and I was like, okay, I wonder how it is going to be with a higher player count.
Yeah.
So then in the evening we added a third player.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I enjoyed it a lot.
It was smooth.
I would say that there is not a lot, of course, of interaction. This is not an area control game.
No.
But I also wouldn't say that this is like a solo multiplayer game,
No, agreed.
because everything that is happening kind of affects the other players. Not
Yes.
only the take that actions,
Yes.
but actually the tiles that people are buying.
Exactly.
Right, the family, like the one of the cards that they're going to take.
Correct.
What else do you feel that is like actually with the interaction between the players?
Just that if, for instance, the one time it was sporting that the kid children wanted.
Right.
He was going after sporting. I'm like, I can't catch up. I'm gonna go try something else.
Right.
To improve my prestige, for example, while he was spending money on sporting, because I'm like, I'll just have to wait for this.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And it didn't work
Yeah.
for me, but that's okay. I still had fun. It was fine.
No, so it's kind of cool to see what the other players are planning, and so I wouldn't say like the interaction here is like crazy in your face, going head to head.
Yeah. Agreed.
But actually, in this game, it didn't bother me at all. So that was totally a feature that I enjoyed.
And again, because you're a family and you're paying attention with
The other families are doing.
So it's like, okay, I'm just going to sit back and watch, but I'm still going to
So
do this.
again, like the theme is coming into the mechanic. Like, it makes sense.
Everything is there.
Right.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I truly appreciate it. If you like what you saw, if you appreciate it, feel free to subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. It's a huge way to help me out. Thank you for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.